Shocking revelation. Yu Menglong's body at Qihao Art Museum? Let's begin today's update with shocking new developments surrounding the mysterious death of Chinese actor Yu Menglong. Three locations are now under intense scrutiny: the Bulgari Hotel, 798 Cube Art Museum, and Qihao Art Museum. According to commentator Lim Liang, a netizen emailed him claiming that Yu Menglong was first tortured nearly to death inside the spa area of the Bulgari Hotel, then transferred to Zhoujie Technology Co., Ltd. in Jiangsu, where the torture allegedly continued. He was then moved again to Sunshine Upper East Residential Complex, where his death from a fall was staged. And finally, his body was taken to the basement of the Qihao building inside the 798 Art Zone, which, according to rumors, remains in a cold storage room to this day. The same email reported that on the night of September 10th, someone staying at the Bulgari Hotel heard a desperate voice believed to be Yu Menglong's, crying out, "Please let me go." Another netizen reviewing surveillance footage from that night claimed to spot a man resembling Chinese rapper Wu Yaotao, whom we mentioned earlier, now emerging as a new suspect in the case. He too was reportedly at the Bulgari Hotel that evening. Multiple sources have since alleged that, to cover up the truth, the Bulgari Hotel shut down for 3 days, citing cleaning, demolished several rooms, and erased all surveillance recordings while ordering employees to remain silent. Shortly afterward, the Qihao Art Museum also closed for 2 days. According to the same whistleblower, although Bulgari is an international luxury chain, its Beijing branch has allegedly become a playground for CCP elites and the wealthy. Numerous male and female entertainers are said to be used and manipulated there if they comply. Those who resist are allegedly imprisoned in the hotel's basement until they submit. Another netizen claimed that Beijing's Chaoyang district hides many so-called dens of corruption, glittering hotels and art museums above ground, but secret detention chambers below. The Bulgari Hotel, they noted, stands right next to the PLA General Hospital, connected by underground tunnels to nearby art spaces. A perfect triad of secrecy. What role does the PLA General Hospital play here? Could it be involved in organ harvesting operations? And from there, the bodies are said to be transferred through the tunnels to the 798 Art Museum. It's horrifying even to imagine. Further compiled reports point out that within Tianyu Media Company, at least 9 contracted artists have died under suspicious circumstances in less than a decade. Car crashes, building falls, unexplained deaths. Besides Yu Menglong, the list includes Tan Beishi, Shang Yubo, Bian She, Chao Renliang, Benxi, Renjiao, Lu Jiayong, and Kai Zhong, among others. Can all of this still be considered coincidence? Or is it the trace of a systematic killing operation? Is this still a place that cultivates artists, or has it become a graveyard for them? One source added that the 798 Art Zone is operated by the state-owned Chixing Group, which allegedly stores numerous bodies. To trap the souls, it is said that 7-star soul-locking pins are placed in red threads tied to victims' shoes, so their spirits can neither escape nor seek justice. Could this be reflected in this photo we've seen circulating in recent days? The same email concluded, "This isn't just about the entertainment world or the hospitals. It's about an international-level criminal system orchestrated by the CCP. A comprehensive network of terror. I want to cry to death. That's why ordinary people feel so powerless and unable to resist." Another post suggested that the 798 case may involve far more victims, and that attention was deliberately shifted to Bulgari to keep the wider network from being exposed. As one user summarized, 798 and Bulgari together form the artery of these demons, their true den of evil. The Hidden Code of 798, Dark Rituals Beneath the Art Museum. Regarding the numbers 798 in 798 Art Museum, commentator Dayu explained that one of his loyal viewers, someone deeply versed in numerology and esoteric arts, wrote to him, saying these are not ordinary numbers at all. The number 7, he noted, corresponds to the Big Dipper, Bei Do Qi Xing, which in Taoist belief governs life and death. The museum's ground design, he claimed, mirrors the movement of constellations, while 8 represents stability and balance in the 8 trigrams, Bagua. As for 9, it is seen as the extreme of yang energy, the pinnacle of vitality and power, and under certain conditions, it can even lock or summon souls. In witchcraft and occult practice, combining specific numbers within a name can conceal divination patterns or spell formations, thereby masking the intent of dark rituals. Only those well-versed in numerical mysticism could possibly decode such hidden meanings. He went on to describe one example, the so-called skin garment. According to him, sorcerers once crafted clothing from the skin, a grim symbol of inheriting the deceased's spiritual power or lingering resentment. In rituals meant to suppress or trap souls, such garments often took the form of skin puppets, acts considered forbidden and taboo. These rituals were never documented publicly, instead passed down orally, often involving blood tests or sacrificial rites. Other objects in the museum that appear to be chairs, he claimed, are actually symbols of command and spiritual anchoring. What's on display is not art, but rather a physical manifestation of authority and occult hierarchy, a lingering trace of ancient sacrificial practice. As for why Yu Menglong was said to have been moved between several different locations, this viewer offered a chilling explanation. In ancient shamanic and esoteric ceremonial traditions, rituals often required constant changes in space, sound, and environmental rhythm. The purpose was to create a sense of displacement in the soul, making it unable to find peace, forced to wander endlessly. When the surrounding direction and space continuously shift, the soul becomes disoriented, overwhelmed by fear and confusion, unable to find its way home. Once a soul's position is disturbed, it becomes easier to manipulate or dominate. Hence, performing the ceremony at multiple sites is a deliberate act of spiritual control and summoning. All of this, commentator Dai Yu emphasized, reflects that viewer's personal interpretation. Yet based on his many years of study, the viewer remains convinced that the 798 Art Museum is far from simple. He even suspects there may be an altar hidden beneath the museum, and that the so-called artworks displayed above are part of a larger ritual installation, a continuation of the ceremony performed below. He stressed that these are only his personal views, and that those who don't believe it can simply treat it as a story. As some continue decoding the mysteries of 798, the Taiwanese YouTubers have returned, once again attempting to communicate with Yu Menglong's spirit. YouTuber 204 Files tries to contact Yu Menglong's spirit again. On October 15th, 2 hosts from the YouTube channel 204 Files once again used an EVP, refers to electronic voice phenomenon, device in an effort to communicate with the spirit of Yu Menglong, hoping to uncover new clues about his mysterious case. As previously reported, just 2 weeks earlier, the same hosts had attempted contact using the same equipment, and according to them, had received clear and direct responses that drew widespread attention online. During that first session, they asked about Yu's birthplace, who had beaten him, and what he wished to tell his fans. And they claimed that each answer was surprisingly specific. In this second session, they carried out another round of questions, nearly 20 in total. After allegedly establishing contact with Yu's spirit, when asked whether he would attend the memorial ritual organized by his mentor Sun Durong on October 17th, a voice replied, "Yes, thank you for your hard work." When they asked if there existed a suicide note that had been hidden or erased, the answer came back, "There is." Later, when the hosts inquired whether the remains of Yu Menglong and Qiao Renliang were inside the 798 Art Museum in Beijing, a mysterious voice responded with 2 phrases, "Not good looking." Qi Hao. Could the mention of Qi Hao actually refer to the Qi Hao Art Museum we mentioned earlier, the very place suspected of storing Yu's body? When asked whether Qiao Renliang had died under the same cruel treatment, the voice replied, "Very scary." One of the hosts also mentioned that the British psychic T.Y. William had predicted the case would become clear in October. When they asked which exact date, the spirit allegedly responded, "The 18th. Although the recording from this session was noisier and less distinct than the first, The two hosts insisted that they still obtained significant information. They emphasized that they were simply using scientific instruments to detect potential signals, and that the accuracy of the responses could not be guaranteed, leaving it up to viewers to judge for themselves. Despite skepticism and criticism, they vowed to continue their work, saying, "If we allow this case to fall silent, it means there will never be an answer. That's why we must keep it alive." Viewers responded with an outpouring of support and appreciation for the pair's persistence. One said, "Thank you to all our friends in Taiwan. We can't speak out here. My account on domestic platforms has been permanently banned. Thank you for helping us share the truth." Yet even as people fight to speak the truth from the shadows, chaos is erupting behind the scenes, this time inside the regime's own propaganda machine. Behind-the-scenes chaos. China's two most powerful propaganda agencies at war? In recent weeks, a shocking revelation from inside China's censorship machine has peeled back the curtain on how fractured the Chinese Communist Party has become. A content moderator from the popular Chinese platform Bilibili reportedly fled the country and exposed the behind-the-scenes chaos between two of China's most powerful propaganda organs, the Central Propaganda Department and the Cyberspace Administration of China. According to the whistleblower, both departments issued conflicting directives following public outrage over the new K-visa program, a policy intended to attract foreign scientists, engineers, and researchers. After the policy was announced in mid-August, Chinese netizens erupted. Why bring in foreigners? Aren't our PhDs and master's graduates talented enough? Despite China's severe youth unemployment crisis, the CCP claimed the visa would help the country bring in global talent. But the backlash was swift. K-visa became one of the most discussed topics on Chinese social media, repeatedly topping Weibo's trending list and forcing authorities to intervene. That's when the battle between Beijing's propaganda giants reportedly began. On September 29th, the whistleblower's team was instructed to promote K-visa videos. The next day, a new email arrived ordering them to suspend all related discussions. Hours later, their supervisor reversed course again, telling them to resume promotion. Confused staff began asking, "Who do we listen to? The Cyberspace Administration or the Propaganda Department?" By early October, comment sections under all K-visa-related videos were quietly throttled. Viewers could only see one comment every 30 minutes, effectively silencing public debate. As one netizen confirmed, only official media content remains. The timing matches exactly what the whistleblower described. Days later, the same reviewer revealed they had resigned and were leaving China, while a colleague had been detained for questioning. In their final post, the whistleblower described years of emotional exhaustion. "Since 2019, I've reviewed endless political content. To earn a small monthly bonus of 500 yuan, about $70, I had to moderate the political section, which is far stricter than any other. Every day we received contradictory orders from both the Propaganda Department and the Cyberspace Administration. They explained that companies often paid Bilibili to manipulate exposure, either pushing favorable coverage or burying negative stories. If Xiaomi or Huawei faced bad publicity, we were told to boost those videos. But when it came to videos about the elderly begging for food or medical treatment, they got no traffic at all. I felt like a bad person." Then came an even more explosive revelation. The Propaganda Department had ordered moderators to suppress all videos about actor Meng, whose mysterious death sparked global attention. Officials feared the case could be interpreted as an allusion to leadership. Yet, paradoxically, Bilibili was told by another authority, the Cyberspace Administration, to promote those same videos, especially those mentioning the 798 Art Museum, a location rumored to be linked to Yu's death. The reviewer said, "One side wants total silence, the other wants exposure. It's chaos, power fighting power while the public is deceived." This is life inside the CCP's propaganda system. We, the lowest-level workers, oppress others while being oppressed ourselves. Censorship is an inhuman job. I'm just glad to be free. Yu Menglong's case, now beyond one actor's death, has revealed something deeper. China's propaganda empire is no longer unified. The rivalry between the Central Propaganda Department and the Cyberspace Administration has now burst into the open, exposing an internal struggle for dominance over the nation's information control. What the whistleblower described, contradictory orders, suppressed truth, and open infighting, shows that Beijing's Iron Curtain is cracking from within, as the CCP's carefully crafted image of unity collapses under the weight of its own internal power struggle. As the truth leaked, even state media lost faith and panic spread to the very top. The inside story leaked. Even state media lost faith. Kai and Xi panicked? According to the Vision Times, in the days leading up to the fourth plenary session of the Chinese Communist Party, something extraordinary happened. An agency that had long operated from the shadows suddenly stepped into the light. The CCP's National Administration of State Secrets Protection, also known as the Bureau of Confidentiality, quietly emerged from obscurity with a public accusation, claiming that Chinese media outlets had used sensitive materials from classified documents in their reports, thereby leaking state secrets. At first glance, the move looked like a simple warning to journalists, but analysts say it signals something much deeper. Beijing's ruling elite has lost control of its own information system. For the first time in years, the CCP's Secrecy Bureau was brought to the forefront, not to guard secrets from foreign spies, but to contain the leaks coming from within the party itself. According to observers, the timing couldn't be more telling. Just before the party's key political meeting, insiders have been leaking information at a rate unseen in decades. Major stories, such as the rumored stroke and collapse of Xi Jinping before the third plenum last year, and internal reports about top generals Miao Hua and He Weidong, first surfaced abroad, then were later confirmed. These weren't ordinary rumors. They came directly from inside the CCP system, exposing an unprecedented collapse of discipline and trust. That internal breakdown, experts say, is what pushed Xi Jinping and his powerful aide Kai Chi to panic. As Taiwan-based researcher Shen Mingxi put it, the sudden reappearance of the Bureau reflects a regime obsessed with hiding its family scandals. Political commentator Chen Pokong was more blunt. The CCP already has the Ministry of Public Security, the Ministry of State Security, the Political and Legal Affairs Commission. Now they've had to drag out the Bureau of Confidentiality. It means they're terrified. The crisis inside the party has become uncontrollable. Indeed, the Bureau's recent WeChat post, accusing news outlets of leaking secrets, listed 3 examples that sounded almost trivial. An interview where a journalist cited a classified file, a newspaper article based on a government disk, and a TV report showing new weapons. But what matters is not the content, it's the desperation behind the message. The leadership is no longer worried about foreign espionage. It's worried about its own people. Sources say this internal paranoia has reached a point where even state media is no longer trusted. Commentator Tang Jingyuan notes that the CCP has begun tightening control over official reporters, fearing that they might, intentionally or not, expose the party's inner workings. Tang said, "This crackdown shows 2 things. Externally, the CCP faces growing pressure after its failed wolf warrior diplomacy. Internally, it's trapped in a knife-edge power struggle where everyone fears betrayal." For decades, secrecy was one of the CCP's greatest weapons. Its internal apparatus, hidden offices, coded documents, and shadow bureaus formed an invisible wall protecting the party from scrutiny. But that wall is now full of cracks. Today, the regime's biggest threat is not an outside enemy. It's the information leaking from its own ranks, as officials and insiders quietly pass materials to foreign and independent outlets. Bringing the Bureau of Confidentiality into public view is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of desperation. It reveals a leadership that no longer trusts its own system, a propaganda machine that no longer believes its own stories, and a ruler who feels the ground shifting beneath his feet. The inside story has been leaked. Even state media no longer believes it. And in their panic, Kai Chi and Xi Jinping have done the unthinkable. dragged a secret agency out of the shadows, hoping to hide what's already spilling into the light. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to drop this icon in the comments to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you